Friday morning, everyone. It's sunny here in South Carolina. How is it where you live, Sharon?
It's beautiful and sunny. We're really excited for that.
That's awesome. By the way, you have two Sharons on the screen. So hopefully we won't confuse you. We know who we are, but it might be confusing to you. So we'll do our best to not confuse you. Sharon, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about your family and how you came to homeschool.
Cool. I am Sharon Huizinga. I have 4 kids, ages 10, 8, 5, and 2. They are all summer birthdays, so they're all almost the next age. We have my husband's an electrician, so he's actually here right now, which is awesome. And how I came to homeschool, well, I was a school teacher, kind of like you, Sharon. So I was teaching, and I was pregnant with my oldest, and we went to actually a homeschool convention, a teachers conference, okay? And I was going through all the booths trying to complete a scavenger hunt, and I found a BJU Press booth. And the BJU Press booth had a homeschooling pamphlet out, which I don't know why they had that there. It was totally a God thing. So I took it and I was like, wait, you can use these books that I'm teaching in the classroom at home with your own kids? I didn't even think about that. So that was kind of a seed planted, and things just all fell into place. And 3 years later, we started preschool 3 with my 3-year-old.
Isn't that funny how people don't think that the materials can be used at home? I mean, you're the teacher. They're just materials, right? So did you start with parent-led materials? Did you start with textbooks, or did you start with videos?
Yeah, we didn't start right away with BJU Press. We started just with preschool stuff. I had taught preschool as well. So with only one child, it was real easy just to be like, oh, we're going to paint today, or we're going to do salt letters, or, any of that stuff. So I really just did that with my 3-year-old. And then I had another baby and another and another, and it became really obvious that we needed some help. So my mentor actually said to me in very frank terms, you have to go get BJU Press at the Times Distance Learning. So yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that you had a mentor. So does she still work with you on your homeschooling?
She does. When I have any major issues, when I'm having a bad day, when I have a huge victory, it's always her that I contact. She is ahead of the game. She got a graduate. He just got married just before all this craziness, so he got in right under the line. But he got married, and she still has, I believe she still has an 8-year-old. She's going to watch this and be like, well, you don't know who my youngest child is, but she has, I think, 7 kids. So she's got a ton of experience, and actually she is the reason that I am a consultant today. So that's funny. I've been trying to get her to become a consultant, so here's hoping.
We need her to become a consultant. So that's what I was going to ask you, is that probably had some effect on you choosing to be a consultant too, because even though you're still early in your homeschooling, although you've been doing it for probably 7 or 8 years, right? That's not too early. You've been doing it a while. You're able to mentor and encourage other families too. So tell me how you became a consultant then, and then how long you've been doing that.
I have been a consultant since, I believe, 2016. So this is my 4th year. I decided to become a consultant. I was selling another product, kind of similar structure on the back end of things, but very different in the ministry aspect. There was no ministry aspect to it. So I thought to myself, well, it's really nice to get, to work with people and to do the parties and all that, and that interaction. I would love to do that with my people, with homeschoolers. And it sure enough has been a huge blessing. I absolutely love meeting with everyone at conventions. We're really sad not to be going to the conventions right now. My convention, I'm going to be leading Fort Wayne, is not canceled yet, but I'm watching it with anticipation. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's kind of how I became. I interviewed and We talked about the curriculum that I used to teach and the curriculum that I begged for when I was a teacher. You can guess which was which.
Yes, been there and done that.
I was teaching fourth grade, and the fifth grade teacher right next door to me got BJU Press, not homeschool, but BJU Press English 5. And I just remember during my lunch hour going through it and being like, oh, this is so beautiful.
See, that was the beginnings of your consulting career, because already you knew the quality. So Sharon not only consults, and she lives in Michigan, so she has an outreach also in other things as well, which we're going to talk about in just a minute and let her share that. But in the meantime, I thought we would talk about what a typical day, well, nothing's typical right now, but before the virus and Lord willing, after the virus and things settle down, what did a typical day look like for you? Because you're not shy about blogging and letting people know that there are some special needs that are in your home. And so that's been a huge blessing to other people. So I thought maybe you could share what a typical day looks like for you. And then now that this has happened, now that we have stay at home, shelter at home situation, what these days are looking like for you, because I am positive there are other families like yours who are walking through the same thing. And I thought it would be encouraging just to chat with those families.
Sure. So in normal life, not COVID life, we have two different typical days. So one typical day is a therapy day. So we try to do therapies if I can schedule it properly, and I schedule far out to get this to work. But we try to do therapy days on Mondays. So Monday morning, we wake up, we get ready, we go to therapy. I try to get them pretty close together. So we'll go to OT, and then we'll go to CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, right afterwards, with enough time in between for my kids to snack, because everybody knows that is really important. And then we come home for lunch and just kind of hang out for quiet time. They can read, do some quiet activities and whatever, and just chill, because therapy is part of their education and part of their upbringing. So it's not wasted time, which I had to preach to myself when we first started. So I was like, they're getting behind on the days, which I know so many people are really interested in with our curriculum, because there's days labeled. That's something that we do not worry about. We work at our own pace, and we just make progress every day. So that's our therapy days. Our other days, we will either have, just get up, do morning chores. Structure is super important in our home. If we get off track, it becomes chaos really quick, and it really affects moods. And the sensory stuff that my kids deal with just get worse. Everything ramps up. So I shared these I believe on my own blog. I have 3 different checklists. I have the morning checklist, an afternoon checklist, and an evening checklist that my kids all work off of. So I didn't want one huge list, because that's really overwhelming. So I made it cute with graphics, and we follow those checklists. We get our chores done in the morning. We go straight to school. My big kids do their video courses. My daughter has been struggling the most with that in previous years, and she is nailing it this year. She's right on task right now, is doing her work with her video teachers, even though I'm right here, which is great. My husband is helping her right now, which is not typical. But in general, that's what happens. We have lunch. We have recess, even though we don't want to do school at home. My kids need to go outside, so I'll call it recess. It's fine. So they go outside and they play, and then we have quiet time every afternoon with the sensory stuff. We've got to take it down a notch in the afternoon. So in the morning, we go. In the middle of the day, we have a time to just let down. And then after that, we'll get more school done, and then have more outside time and chores, and just stick to that structure that's on the checklist. Of course, we have other days that we go to the library, to the zoo, to the museums. We have a membership to the public museum. We travel a lot to different groups. We used to do co-op, but we're not doing co-op right now just because of therapy. So we miss our co-op family.
So I bet you do. I'm sure they miss you too. So now that you're not going to those places, are you incorporating some additional things or some different things, or are you just kind of relaxing a little bit?
Well, at first we just relaxed a little bit. I needed some time to cancel a lot of appointments. Um, we decided, I believe OT is still open, but I decided against it because it's literally touch therapy. And there's just no way that having my kids' hands in sensory bins, and you just can't sanitize that stuff. So in general, I'm not concerned about that, but in today's world, I am concerned about that right now. So we're not doing any therapy out of the house. We are under a state order to stay home. So we are trying to build in OT activities at home as much as possible because, yeah, the week that we didn't, the kids started crawling the walls. So, and I know kids do that anyway, but I can just tell, like my oldest, he really needs heavy work, which is anything that like pull-ups or push-ups or anything like that. And he has not been getting that. And he's also not getting interaction with his friends, say, having Nerf wars in my yard and all that stuff. So he's been struggling. And that's something that's really important for me to take the time out of our school day, since that's not interrupted. We're actually getting more done school-wise right now than we usually do. So that's flowing a little bit more steadily because we're not leaving for therapy, but we do need to take a break to make sure we get therapy done here.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. And I'm glad you mentioned the heavy work too. And a lot of that can be done around the house. It's not as fun to vacuum or to do gardening, but even washing the car, we have pollen all over our cars right now. So even going outside and doing something like that, or, trying to make it a fun family.
Breaking my grass.
Yeah, I mean, that is input and it's not quite as fun, but maybe you can make it a fun thing. But I think it's wonderful that God has given families wisdom to know when to go out, when to stay in, and then when you need those extra special things that you can do some things at home. And then, of course, because you're the teacher, the parent is a teacher, you can decide how much work you need to do and how much you don't. And so just like you said, sometimes you need to relax and chill it out a little bit and calm down. And then on the days when things are going well and your kids are getting it, it's okay to move faster. It's okay to move on. Take advantage of those days while you can, but don't overwork them because that's not fun. And that's more work for mom too. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your blog? You blog for us as well, and you're doing some YouTube videos for us, which we're so very thankful for our consultants that are able to do that. We're trying to provide content for our customers. We want them to know how to make this stuff work for themselves. We want to give encouragement to them. And so let's talk about that a little bit. And then if there's anything else you want to say, you can say it, and then we'll go.
Sure. So I blog over at ADHDhome.net. That is my personal blog, and I kind of do that not just for the general population, but also for my kids. ADHD is really genetic, and my daughter is a carbon copy of me. So my parents have a good time laughing about that. Like, I can't get her to do this, and they're like, mm-hmm. But she really is doing awesome now. We found some things that really work for her. So I write those blog pieces to help other moms that are in the same situation, because personally, I really don't like to recreate the wheel. People that work with me know that I ask a lot of questions. I really want to know details, and I want to learn as much as possible. And some of my friends were asking me questions, and I was kind of like, why are you asking me that? That's common knowledge. This is my life, so it feels like common knowledge to me. But they were letting me know, this isn't common knowledge for us. Can you please share with us what's working for you here and what's not? So after a few of gentle nudges from my friends and the Lord, I decided to step out in faith and just start that. So that's been a fun little adventure for me. I'm not trained to be a writer in any way. That's just me as a mom sharing what works and what doesn't work in an effort to help. And you will find some graphics on there, like my checklist and my chore list and stuff like that. Just wanted to share those things.
So, that's what I love about our consultants, because we're all over the country. We all have different family situations, and they range in our families. You know, the more kids we have, the more variety we have, the different learning styles they have. And so for our customers, when they come to the booth and they say, I'm having this situation, or I'm not sure what to do here, we typically know which consultant works best in that area. So we have many consultants across the country who have kids with special needs, who use BJU Press materials for their children in a way that works best. And I have to say, the thing that you said that I really appreciated was that you worked at your own pace and you made progress every day. And I thought that is really the key there, is that you're not looking to complete chapters or complete pages. You're working at your own pace. And that requires really a lot of prayer and patience for mom, a lot of conversations with dad, I would guess. So, you know, if you're in a situation and you don't know what to do, or you're out of suggestions, contact a homeworks consultant, or contact our Facebook page. We'll connect you with a consultant, and we'll try and see what we can do to help you make this work for you. That's one of the beauties of homeschooling, is that you have the opportunity to make this work for your child, where in a traditional classroom, it's much more difficult to meet those specific needs. And then they come home with homework, and then mom is still having to try to adjust the material. Yeah. So anything else you want to share?
I just want to encourage anybody else that has special needs kids, that in whatever way their special needs, be it gifted or, you know, there's a huge range of special needs. I just want to encourage them that they can use this curriculum. You don't need to look at it and say, this is a school curriculum, I need to make it look like school. And I'll tell you what, I used to tell people that being a teacher was like my greatest advantage in being a homeschooler. It's really not. Yeah, teaching is a passion of mine. I love that. So that's a huge benefit. But I've really had to break away from the structure that I had as a school teacher. Friday is test day. Friday is the day we do the spelling test. We need to do one list and make sure that we pass it, and do the next list. And that is totally not my homeschool life. And I can just almost hear the Lord laughing, like, okay, I'm going to make you flexible, and this is the way it's going to be. So just be encouraged that you can use this curriculum. We actually do not complete the curriculum. That's always a big question. We don't complete the curriculum within the September to June, early June. We spread it out. So if I need to spread it out longer, with video courses, I have 18 months. So if I really need to spread it out longer, which I did with one of my children, she's about six months behind, but I really don't go by behind, because you know what? She's happy, she loves learning, and she's excelling now. So if anybody wants to learn more about year-round schooling and what my summer school looks like, trust me, it looks like everybody else's summer, with popsicles and swimming and all of that. But just a little bit of school peppered in there during peak sun hours. So less sunscreen.
A lot of people do that too, or they'll do 4 days a week and do year-round schooling too. So there's one other thing you mentioned that I think is interesting, because when we talked with Yvonne last week, she mentioned something about, you know, struggling through the materials. And then at one point, about the same age that your daughter is, she became more independent with the video classes, and she started to grow. So I think maybe part of that is part of the age. Yep. And being exposed to the video lessons when it clicks. So for some parents, you know, video lessons work. For some parents, parent-led works. But I would say try one now and again. Try a video class now and again, and see if this is a good time. And it may just be that they click. Some great comments. We love year-round homeschooling. I think there's a large percentage of families that do. It's your lifestyle.
Yeah. It works well with co-op too, even if you don't have like therapy days. Like a lot of co-ops are one day. So that I was struggling against it while we were just in co-op, and I was just like, no, we're gonna finish each week. And yeah, I was a younger homeschooler.
Well, but, we have to start with something and then grow. And to have a mentor, I think, is important and encouraging to know. And even then, a mentor still has to back off, just like a parent does.
Yep.
Say, well, this still has to work for you. So we're so thankful for our consultants. We're thankful, Sharon, for you and for the opportunity that you have and the joy you have to be able to share with people. I think that is, as Ann says, it's the best kept secret in homeschool. We don't want this to be a secret, that our consultants are out there trying to meet the needs and encourage, and this should not be a secret. So if you have not found our consultants, go to homeschoolhelp.com/map and you can find one. You can also contact our page, and we have lots of things on our YouTube channel. Also, we're of course, Facebook is a place where we spend a lot of time talking, but we do have an event coming up very shortly. We have an online party, and if you want to join that, that's homeschoolhelp.com/party. And in that party, our consultants are answering questions. We're doing lots of Q&As. So if you have lots of questions about homeschooling in general, homeschooling kids with special needs, homeschooling high schoolers, video classes, whatever questions you have, that's a really great place to go and learn. And then also checking with our consultants because they are using these materials every single day. And it's a joy and a ministry to them to talk one-on-one with you. They're missing that fellowship too, just like you guys are. I'm sure that's true. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Sharon, thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing some more helps on your blog and on ours.
Thank you so much.
Everybody have a great day.